If you've seen my earlier videos on the gender pay gap on this channel, you must know that I have a very revulsive feeling towards such vile and undignified use of statistics. It seems, however, that this trend, like many things in life, is not a new phenomenon. People have been parroting the same erroneous beliefs about the gender pay gap for decades, and sensible people like Dr. Thomas Sowell has been setting the record straight for that long as well. Here is a video of Thomas Sowell debunking the gender pay gap 40 years ago. The video starts out with a female interviewer reading out some stats that supposedly prove the existence of the gender pay gap.
The statistics I was able to pull together indicate that at the present time white males make $17,427 on an average basis for the year. Black males make $12,738. White females make $10,244, and black females make $9,476.
Wait, you mean to tell me that black males were earning ahead of white females 40 years ago? That doesn't make any sense. Society was racist against black people, yet society would suspend that racism just to be more sexist against the white woman. A white woman's race didn't count against the black man. One would think that a white woman's race would trump a black man's gender in such a society. How did it happen that compared to a black man, a white woman's whiteness no longer counted? We're supposed to believe that a racist employer, seeing both a black male and a white female, makes the calculation that gender matters more than race and discriminates against the white woman in favor of the black man. This doesn't quite make any sense.
It is clear from these figures, as indeed I think it's clear to most of us from what we see, that there is a discrimination against blacks and against women.
It isn't clear, madam, that discrimination is the cause of such disparities. This woman was a candy before there was a candy.
In our present system, since not all blacks will be superior.
Now, I don't even know what she means by not all blacks would be superior, but let's go ahead.
How would you try to even that out so that there would be some equality of job opportunities?
I'm sorry you missed the earlier part of the program when I pointed out that where you find people not represented evenly, that does not show the institutional effect, because almost nowhere in human affairs do you find people evenly represented.
She clearly skipped over that part of the presentation because it negates her belief. This is what people do: ignore information that contradicts their position instead of critically assessing it to see if they might be wrong.
If you compare comparable people with respect to age, with respect to education, etc., you get a totally different picture, both with respect to blacks and women. Now, the figures that I saw, for example, showed more recently that if you take black families where the husband and wife are both college educated and compare them to a white family where the husband and wife are both college educated, the black family is now earning $2,000 a year more. The problem is that very few blacks fall in that category. That when you compare category for category, then we're talking about getting people a decent education. I'm saying that you cannot say that numbers collected at the employer's place of business reflect simply the employer's policies. Those numbers reflect underlying conditions in the whole society, just as numbers collected at a hospital do not show you that the people are sick because they're in the hospital.
I don't know how this isn't apparent to anyone. Take, for example, if you carried out a chemical analysis to determine the vitamin C components of apples and oranges, you're going to find a disparity. But why is that so? They are both fruits anyway. That's the way I see this gender pay statistics being used. They don't compare like with like, they compare apples with oranges.
No, I would agree with that, but you would also have to agree that generally speaking, women are paid less, for example, for the same jobs as men.
Her point could very well be proven by comparing the income of all classes, including white men, black men, white women, and black women with the same level of experience and skill doing the same job in the same company, and finding a disparity in their earnings. But that's not the case. She factors in the earnings of maybe a top executive who may be a male and a secretary who may be a female, and comes to a conclusion that there is a pay disparity. Was she expecting that the secretary was going to earn as much as the top executive? This is some weird utopian wet dream.
No, I would not. I would not agree with that. If you're talking about women with the same number of years of experience, with the same continuous service, etc., then when I look at that, I don't find that disparity. I find, for example, in many cases, the women are making more, depending on how you break the data down.
So women have been earning more than men for 40 years, yet feminists scream the reverse. Who's going to tell men this and ask them to start fighting for equal pay? Never mind, that would just be seen as toxic masculinity and the evil patriarchy trying to keep women down again.
The difference with women is between married women and everybody else. That's the real difference.
Very well put by Thomas Sowell. And I will say this again. Numbers or statistics do not tell us anything by themselves without context. Any set of data can be interpreted in any number of ways, but it doesn't mean that all the number of ways of interpretation are valid.
Well, even as to single women, the Census Bureau statistics, the most recent ones I could find, 1978, say that single men are earning $11,100 and single women are earning $9,300.
She pulls up another nonsense statistics as though all single men and women work at the same job, or even the same role, or even have the same level of experience. She totally ignored all the factual things he said before, and like a bot repeats the question that he just answered. It would help her case if she could provide any shred of evidence for her assertion.
Yes, I love the word single that is used. When I did my study, I didn't use single, I used never married. You see, a woman who is single at age 40, having spent 10 or 20 years raising children, is really not quite the same as a man of age 40 who's been working continuously for 20 years.
And the differential she cited is not that great, so he could easily be accounted for by the
Yes, because when I break them down the other way, I did this for the academic world, and there I found the women who are never married, which is the term the way I take it. There they were earning more than the men. And similarly, when the government did data some years ago on women who had been working continuously since high school into their 30s, there you found that they were making slightly more than men of the same description. So the difference is between married women and everybody else.
So there was a disparity after all, but this disparity is in favor of women? Who could have thought?
And married men get an extra bonus because their wives take care of many things that enable them to put more time into their careers.
This is what was great about the traditional family structure, where one parent is the principal provider and the other the caregiver. It makes for better outcomes for the family. But now it's fashionable for both parents to be working and then pay a total stranger to raise their kids. Wherever did that idea come from, that it was an okay way to have a family? Can't people see that it's an anomaly for a family not to be able to survive on the income of one partner? Instead, both parents scramble off to slave for corporations and employers. Why is no one asking why two incomes are needed for a family to survive today instead of one as it was in the past?
I'm sure you're aware of the fact that there are approximately 15% of all homes in which there is only one wage earner. So that when you talk about women being able to take care of things for their married mate wage earner, the fact is that in the overwhelming majority of American homes, the women also work. And therefore, I don't think your explanation that women have other responsibilities and that's why they are...
Work can mean part-time work or full-time work. Women do not work full-time to the same extent that men. Part-time workers make less than full-time workers.
In this very terrible game being played with the gender pay gap, no one wins, not the women who erroneously feel cheated or the men who feel unnecessarily attacked. If you agree with Thomas Sowell that the gender pay gap is a myth, smash that like button and drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.